Alright, and we're back. Last time I showed you how to save the game, and this time I want to show you how to save the game like better. I wanted to make the save game better. So let's not waste any time. It probably won't be too long of a video, but it will be tedious. So let's go ahead and work on our save game that we made last time. If you didn't see it last time, go ahead in the last video and check it out before you do this video. But let's enhance our save game object. So first things first, go into the save game object that you made. Mine's called my save game. And you should see your variable here, last location. We need to add all the rest of the variables that we're going to save in this save game object. So if you don't know which ones you're going to save, go to your character and go through their variables and figure out which ones you're going to save. So for me, alright, so guys, I'm going to show you how to add all the variables to your save game, but for this game, I've learned that I'm not going to have to do the health and the mana, but I'm going to show you how to add it, just in case your game is not the same as mine. So this is how you add all the variables to your save game object. So first get current, health, make sure it's a float just like the other one. And then you can just duplicate that and do current mana, duplicate it again, do max health, duplicate it one more time, and do max mana. Cool. Now we need some booleans that we had before. Let's add has sword. I know that was one of them. Question mark. And make sure you change it to boolean. Also has gun. Question mark. There was a door 1 and a door 2, so I'm going to duplicate and call it door 1 because this is the choice they had. And what was is there any other ones? So some of these I don't need to save, like can shrink, dead, gun equip, because these things happen while you're playing. This is the things I just want to save, like when you die and you come back, the things that need to be saved. So maybe found blue key in door 2. So let's do door 2. And let's do found blue key. Okay, now you have all of that in your save game. You can compile and save. The next thing that you need to do is go to your third person character. So in your third person character here, what we can do is at the top, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and reference our game mode. So in begin play, find your begin play node and drag off of it and say cast to third person game mode. And then you want to, for the object, get game mode. And then what you want to do is for the blue, drag off of it and say promote to variable. It's right here. And you can call that game mode ref. There we go. And we'll use that later. So we need that. So that's the first step. The second step is we need to go to our save and our load variables, or our functions, I'm sorry. So this is what we set up last time. So let's go to our save function first. And it should look just like this. We got our save reference going into the last location. We'll drag this last save game to slot back because we're going to start saving more of our variables here. And in the save game, what you want to do is you want to set the variables from your save game object, and you want to get the variables from your character. So I'll show you how to do that. First things first, let's get, well, because we stored our health and all that stuff in our game mode, let's get it from our game mode. So drag off your game mode reference, and first things, we'll get all the health. Get current health, and get max health, get current mana, and get max mana. That's all we're going to need from our game mode right there. So we could just leave that alone, and we'll plug those up. The way we're going to plug those up is we're going to set them to whatever's in our save game. So compile, save, and off of your save game objects, or you can do it off of here, but I'm going to do it off the object. I'm going to say set max, max mana and max health. So let's do it the mana first, hook that up here, and set your max mana. And then do the same thing, just keep on dragging off your save game, say set max health, set current health, and which one we need, set max, set current mana. Okay, and then you can just hook those up right after another, one after the other. And all you have to do is make sure the ones that you got from your game mode are plugged into the correct ones. And this is how we're going to save everything, every one of our variables. So even drag this further back because we need to put in the booleans as well. So current health to current health, max health to max health, current mana to current mana. Okay, perfect. We're getting somewhere. Now what we want to do is we want to get our has gun and has a sword. So has a sword, we'll get that, and we'll set it from our save game. So set has sword to this one. Do the same thing from your gun. Drag off of your player has gun, get it, and then from the save game you want to say set it. Set has gun, and make sure that's hooked up. Now there's a few more booleans that we have to do. Door 1, door 2. So let's drag off door 1, get it. Door 2, get it. What else do we need? We need found blue key, get that. And wasn't there one more? No, that was it. Cool. Compile, save. Now set all of these from your save game object. So let's do door 1, door 2, and found blue key. Set door 1, set door 2, and remember to hook up the conditions here, or the conditions of your boolean basically. And then lastly we need to found blue key. So from your save game object, set found blue key. Perfect. And then hook the pin up here and found blue key up here. Alright, so now what's going to happen is when you save the game, it's going to take all of these things that are happening in the game, and it's going to set it to the save game object. So that when we recall that save game object when we're loading it, it's going to load all of these variables. So that's good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the load game. So go to your load game. It should be very simple right now, but we'll enhance it. So after you load the game, you cast to your save game object, you're going to set this time you're going to set the variables from the character over here, but you're going to get the variables from the save game object. So we're going to do the same thing but opposite basically. So this time we'll get it from the save game and then we'll set it, but at the end we'll do something a little bit different. So the first thing we need is all that max health and mana and all that stuff. Again, I'm not going to do that in my game, guys, but I'm showing you how to do it just in case you want to save that stuff in your game. In a moment here, I'll go back and delete this if anybody's following along with me. Current mana, current health, I'm getting this all from the save game. Because we're loading the game now. So we retrieve it from the save game, and then we load it back up to the game that's ongoing. So we've got all that stuff. We need door 1, door 2, found blue key, and then we'll get the has gun and has sword. And I saved those for the last because that's the ones we're going to play with. We're going to do something special with those. Alright, perfect. Now that you got all those, we need to set them. So where are we setting them? We're setting them from the character. So remember, all the max health and all this stuff is not from the character. That is coming from the game mode. So in order to set that, drag off your game mode ref, and we're just going to, each one of these, set max health, set max mana, set blah blah blah. So here, set max health, and just plug it in here, and make sure your health is plugged in. Set max mana, plug that in, and make sure it's plugged in. Set current health, set current mana, okay, cool. That stuff is good. That's taken care of. Now we need to continue to set the door 1, door 2. So drag off of here, door 2, set, door 1, set, door 1, door 2. Which one else? Found blue key, set. Remember, we're setting this stuff from the character this time. And we're getting it from the game mode. Not the game mode, the save game object, I'm sorry. So, let's clean it up a little bit. Alright, cool. Now, for the, which one is this? Has sword. Alright, we need to drag off our has sword. So from the character, get your has sword, and we'll set it. So we'll set it to whatever it's saved as. Alright. But before we go forward with this one, what we're going to do is put a branch here. And hook up the red to the red and this to this. So if it's true, if they do have this sword, then we want to set the visibility of the back sword. So on your character, get your back sword, drag it off, and then say set visibility. And hook that up into the true. And make sure that you have the new visibility checked. If it's false, we'll just continue the code as normal. But if it's true, we want the visibility of the back sword to be set. Same thing with the gun. So, has gun, set. Bring that in. We'll do the same exact thing with the gun. Hook up the new visibility to the has gun, and also hook up your false to the has gun. Because if it's false, we want to just keep on going. We're going to pull in a branch one more time. And then we will hook the condition up. And again, if it's true, pull off your back gun over here. Set the visibility to true. Cool. That's pretty much all you have to do. So for your load game, it's going to load all this stuff up and it's going to set the visibility of your gun and your sword if you have it. Okay, after you've done that, what you want to do now is go to your event graph, which we already did that one. Let's go to your checkpoint. So in your level, we have a checkpoint out there, and that's where we put our save game. Every time you run into the checkpoint, it saves the game. So let's open that up, and let's look here. What we need to do here is we need to tweak this a little bit. So after the respawn, let's do something cool. Let's drag off our player and set last location. Hook that up here, hook this up here. And for the last location, we want it to be the same as the respawn transform. In order to do that, we have to split this pin structure. So right click and say split pin, and just hook up the location to the location. And that should be fire. Cool. After that, we need to go into our game mode, because this is where the respawn player is happening. And because we have set up here our third person, our level blueprint. So in our level blueprint, what's going to happen as soon as the level loads, it's going to cast to the character. We'll set the input mode to game only, cast to the character. Then we need it to load the game, and it's going to teleport the character to wherever the last location was. So the cool part is we'll always come in wherever we saved the game at. So save. So in our first checkpoint, now our respawn area is set to our last location, and that's what we need. But in the game mode, we don't need to respawn and spawn the actor and possess the actor and all this extra. All we really need to do is restart the level. Because every time we start the level, it's going to load everything. So after remove from parent, so after you get that widget that says dead, you remove from parent, we can actually unhook this and hook it. We'll move all of this out the way. And I'll leave this here because if you're setting up another kind of game, you may want to respawn your player. But this is how I'm going to do it. Open level by name. Open level by name. And the level that I want is the level that I'm working on, which mine is called third person map. So type it in exactly how you see it. Third person map. No spaces, the right capital letters, and everything. And then we can actually hook that into our print string to make sure it's working. But honestly, that's all we need to do from here. As soon as we open up the level, everything should load back. Yeah. And after that, I think it should be set up pretty nice. Let me double check everything. We've got our load game. We've got our save game. Oh yeah. So for all the people who are saving all of these, that's cool. But for me, I'm not going to save all my health and my mana stuff. And the reason why I'm not going to save that stuff is because I don't want it to be saved. Like if you're doing like a survival game, yeah, you want to save it. But this is like a platformer type, just get to the end. And I want anytime you go to the checkpoint, you die, your health and all that to be restarted. I don't want it to be saved. So I'm going to unclick or hold Alt and move that out the way. And hold Alt for this one. And just bypass all of those by hooking those up. Now again, if you're doing it like a survival game or a different kind of game, then you will want those in there. But for me, I don't. So I'll even break these pins here. Cool. So we'll leave this in here. And this is what some people call junk code. If I left this in my game, when I mix it down or when I render it out, this is junk code. It's not being used. Okay, compile, save. That's good. We should do the same thing to the load game. We don't want it to load up these stats either. or I don't want it to load up these stats either. So I'm gonna unhook that and just hook straight into here, because these stats, I really don't want them to be loaded. So I'll break these pins as well just to clean it up. And I'll leave it there as my junk code, just in case I change up how the game works. But for now, everything should be working correctly. Oh, one more thing. When you're testing out your game and you want to, like if I press play right now, it's going to start me from the last save point. I don't want that. I want to start from the beginning of the game to make sure everything works. So in order to delete your save, go into your project folder. So mine's going to be in Documents, Unreal Engine Projects, and then the name of my game. Then in that folder, it's going to be called Saved. Look for one called Save Games. There it goes. Save Games. And there's your save game. All you have to do is delete it. And when you play over here, it'll start you from the beginning of the game. So let's test out all that saving stuff. So I'm going to go here. And remember, our save is in the checkpoint. So I'm going to continue to play, make sure everything works like it's supposed to. Cool. Choose path 1. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm crossing the checkpoint. I'll grab this sword and let's see what happens here. I'll die. I'm dead. Well, we start back from the checkpoint and our sword is on our back already. So look at that. Isn't that awesome, guys? And I'll show you something a little bit better. Like, you get the sword again, it doesn't do anything. It's not going to give you 2 swords, but you're good. Let's go here and oops. I'm not as good as my game as I thought. I'll show you. If you die from a further place, it's going to start you right back. So let's die over here. It's going to start you right back at the perfect, and you have your sword. Also, if you escape and you play again, you're going to start from the same spot with your sword. So our save game is now way better. It saves everything that we need, and it works how we need it to be working. That is pretty much all I wanted to show you in this video, because after this we're going to get busy and we're going to start making this game feel better, like sounds and cool stuff like that. But I hope you learned something from this one, and that is all I wanted to show you guys. So I will holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.